The Joe Rogan Experience.
You know, coming back to food intelligence, China right now is hoarding grain. They supply 60% of the world's grain. They've been hoarding it for a while, actually, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So we're going to have a shortage, a global shortage. The meat processors, they're not interested in really using livestock anymore. It's just a lot more profitable, and we're training people. You know, oh, now it's an amazing thing, and is it Burger King or someone just came out with new soy nuggets. We're being kind of pushed into this, and all we know is we put it in our face. It has the same texture. It tastes the right way, and the profits are much better. So that's where people are starting to reach out and say, well, why don't I go meet a rancher one day and a local processor. It's not USDA; they can't get that. But in Texas, you're allowed to sell your meat directly without USDA stamp. One of the few states. Vegetables, all this stuff. We're going to have to figure it out because we're going to have shortages. I think we're going to have some serious food shortages. It'll be weird. Like bread might not show up or something else will happen, but we're going to have shortages.
Well, we have a bunch of problems, right? One of the big ones is large population centers aren't self-sustainable.
Entirely not, no.
Yeah, they need food shipped into them.
They need
which is really
Whole Foods and H-E-B.
It's really weird. If you think about the size of like a New York City, it's enormous, right? There's so many people. There's a building. It's a perfect place because the buildings are stacked on top of each other and everything is like when you're there, you're like, wow, there's so much fucking
pretty much.
so much fucking energy in this place.
Yeah.
But like very little is getting grown in terms of food.
Nothing.
Very little.
Nothing.
Definitely not enough to sustain it.
No.
So you got to keep shipping things in. So you got to keep the roads good because you're always just bringing things in on boats and bringing things in on trucks. Everything has to come in. I mean, when one of the cool things about like watching a video about a really good restaurant is seeing them going to meet the fish as the fish are coming in off the boats and everything has to get there.
Yeah.
Someone's got to deliver something. They got to go to a farmer's market and get these big crates from someone way the fuck away who grew the food.
We used to have a fish
in.
market, which became very popular to live, in New York. It literally was the fish market, and the shit came in, and the guys were slicing shit up and moving it out in the middle of the night. It was a dangerous place to be. Lots of hookers in that neighborhood. It was cool as shit. And now it's like, $3 million one bedroom apartments there.
Those are hard men that fillet fish all day.
Oh, yeah.
Those are hard fucking men.
It's very hard.
That is a hard job.
Yeah,
That's a real fucking job.
And you're seeing that too. Kids are looking around and their parents are saying, maybe not go to college, maybe go to vocational school, learn a trade. There's plenty of be entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
seeing a lot of that.
So you're an optimist.
Always.
That's good. Because there's a lot of people that share your perspective that there's some serious fucking things that are wrong, and I wanted to talk to them about like the grain thing. First of all, I've never heard the China grain thing.
I only learned it recently myself. Yeah, it's.
What is it? It says according to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, China is expected to have 69% of the globe's maize reserves. I like how they use the Native American term.
Maize.
It's
like cinema. It's maize. It's not corn.
It's so open-minded. In the first half of crop year 2022, 60% of its rice and 51% of its wheat.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. You can keep all that shit because it's not good for you anyway. How about that?
Well, this is another thing. Can we stop with the rapeseed oil and canola oil already?
That shit's not good for you, right?
That is industrial sludge, brother. And everyone's cooking with it. It's in everything.
Yeah.
The market, because it's rapeseed oil, but now we call it canola oil. The marketing has been fantastic.
Rapeseed is a rough word to sell. For health-conscious folk. Have you had any rapeseed?
Well, I feel like it when I've had it, yeah.
It's there's a well-known fact that there's too much grain in a lot of people's diets.
Yeah.
In terms of like people that eat bread all day and pasta and like, come on, like that's not something you should have all day. Like,
do you use animal fat for cooking? What do you use for cooking?
I use beef tallow.
Okay, because most there was I think a psyop basically on the American people, like, oh, that's going to kill you. You can't use protein, beef protein for your fat for cooking.
Why?
Because they wanted it.
What
you
was
just
the
have to accept
argument?
People are asking money.
I use avocado oil too sometimes.
Yeah,
it's got a high
the
smoke
answer
point.
is money. It's always money.
Yeah.
I mean, look, It's great stuff. Rapeseed oil, and more farmers are being incentivized in the United States to grow the last harvest.
What exactly does those processed seed oils do that's bad to you? Because there's a lot of people that are like hardcore on it. Like Paul Saladino is very hardcore on it. Rob Wolf's very hardcore on it, I believe. I hope I'm not misrepresenting his position, but I think a lot of those guys think you should avoid those kind of fats. Like those kind of those processed seed oils.
Well, here's what I know. The process is number one.
Right.
I've learned this from my buddy Texas Slim.
That's a great name.
Yes, well, and he kind of came out of semi-retirement. He's a little bit young. He's about our age, a little younger, to start the Beef Initiative. And so he's setting it up so people are getting connected with, just basically directly with farmers and food, and using Bitcoin as kind of the common network. But more importantly, he's writing and educating people about food. And one of the most compelling arguments for me, he said, look at pictures of because he's a 12th generation Texan or something. He said, look at pictures of my great-great-grandparents. How do they look? He said, they got some shitty-ass clothes on, but they look pretty good, yeah. Now go to Houston. How do people look now? So what's the difference? People used to live off of beef in Texas. It's not a great place to grow, seeds, but we have the original seeds, the ones that aren't, genetically modified. The cattle manure that fertilize the ground, not using artificial stuff, whatever you need to hyper grow stuff, and we looked much better. And now go to Houston, everyone's obese. So, it's got to be at the intake. It's got to be at the input. It's not just
also
a sedentary.
Too. Well, don't you think there's a lot of people around here in particular very active? A lot of people exercise. A lot of young people.
But people aren't that healthy looking, even in Austin. It's not all that great.
No,
I don't think so.